So in today's quick session, I'm going to go over some modulation, automation, just some MIDI control stuff. Here I have my Logic setup, my usual deal. If I just use a full, let's just do a full orchestra. I just play a chord. Let's record that. So in Logic, we have piano roll. With the piano roll, we can do many a thing. So if I actually move this down an octave, move that one. Actually, no. Okay, so we have our chord. That's a very basic, very sharp chord. There's nothing really happening. It's just all in all the time. So what we can do is to really emphasize how heavy this is. If he wants to do it. Hello. Okay, big fat full chord. So with a mod wheel, what you can do is bring it in. The mod wheel is physical little wheel on my keyboard that I've got, my MIDI keyboard. If you have a MIDI keyboard, you most likely have a mod wheel. Unless it's for a specific circumstance, you can use the mod wheel while you play if you wanted to. Or you can do it in after. To do it in after, we'll press A to bring up our automation, or we'll click this little button up here. We will change this to modulation. And in the modulation, if I actually record a chord with modulation, you'll see what it does. Same chord. So I've made my own modulation there. As you can see, if I join these two up together. Let me move it over first. Okay, so now these two are joined together. You can see the first chord. The first chord has no automation. Stop, please, thank you. The first chord has no automation. The second chord does, and the automation is modulation. That's why I've automated here by doing it on the mod wheel. You can go over what I usually do because I'm not any sort of piano player by any stretch of imagination or a keyboardist. What I usually do is go in after the fact. So after I've recorded my chord or my series of notes or chords or whatever I play, I will I'll usually go over with a mod wheel afterwards and change expression that way, which you can do if I just hit record. I can do my automation in like that. You have to be careful though, because you see how this one starts here. You really want it to start at the beginning. So let's make sure that starts at the beginning. And like everything else, you can make your own edits. So maybe it got too loud here, so I want to turn these down. Get rid of these. And that's more the curve I wanted. Let's see. That's what I wanted. And you can do that. So yeah, so you see how I said you need to add the start on if it's not there. This is exactly why. So because I didn't do a start to this one, it does that. So you should always make sure your automation starts from the start. And this is just an amazing way to make something sound far more realistic, as if it's players playing, and also you can add so much more to your music and make it so much less boring. So if I just play a few chords without automation. Just, oh, whoops. Just a very simple few notes. So, if I play this, I didn't have any modulation and my mod wheel's all the way at the bottom, so it's obviously very quiet. What I'll do is I'll turn it up. So now it's at full. I'll play it through all the way full so you can see what it sounds like. My timing is impeccable, obviously. There's some bits in here that really merge together. Like that. So you see like this dead air I've got here, if I make this bigger. This dead air that I've got here where there's like a little breath between. Well, there's no one's really breathing there. You can't feel any release or tension or anything like that. If I just go through with a mod wheel, and all I'm going to do is, we're going to start at the top, and in that breath, I'm going to turn it down, and then I'm going to turn it back up again for here, so it's like a breath. Let's play. See the difference? That's without, this is with. It's like a little breath. So what we can do now is we know we want to do stuff like that. Usually what I do is at the start of every chord, I drop the mod wheel down a little bit. So it's like the player's just starting and getting into the chord. Unless there's a big situation in which I just have the mod wheel on max and have the player playing as hard as possible. That's what you're simulating here. You're simulating how expressive or hard the player's playing. So if I just go through, I'm going to hit record and I'm just going to go through and do my own modulation here. Let's see what happens. So you saw there, it's got the little roller coaster lines through it. This is what I drew. And then obviously in my automation here, you can see it. What I was going for there was building it up nice and slow. And then obviously because I had to move the mod wheel at the start, we've got these little artifacts here. So that's what we wanted. So what I'm going to do is listen to it, go through, see what we like, see what we don't. What I wanted to do was have it express the start of each chord, so it's kind of building up, and then at the end, just slowly build, and then boom, the big one. And rather than just having the tail of the note end, so if I move this on, rather than just have the note end like that, I wanted the players to end the note. So those are actually the players getting quieter, which I think sounds a much more real cadence than just letting the note end itself. So let's go through and see what we like, see what we don't like. So there's one bit in here. I think this needs to come an earlier start. And there's one bit in here, which is exactly what I was talking about, how this just kind of has a high impact and then cuts. So what I want to do is move this little cadence back, and I've taken far too much there. I'll just do that. Yeah, if you run over notes, so for example, I want to get rid of all this and have the curve different, I just pick one of the start ones and just run over all the other notes, and it will remove them. So let's see how that sounds. Still cuts a little bit short. I'll do. want this to start earlier as well. So let's make this curve a little steeper. So I'm going to find a point along here that's similar, so around here. And I'm going to take these out. Like so. Done. So now what we can do, now we have that, we can add in other things that might help. If I just take a full wind patch. Okay, let's just make something up here. And see what happens. While I play, I will use my mod wheel and see what we get. So what I'm doing here is showing you that we can add in other stuff with the mod wheel, because otherwise this would have been, if I take the mod wheel off, this would have just been too much too soon and too often. So if I take all of my modulation on the full wind and play that. Let's make sure it's max. See, even though those notes don't sound too good together, when I modulated it before, it kinda came in. It kind of blends it in a little bit better, even though they don't sound too good together. So that's what I was really going for there, to show you that you can bring stuff in and take stuff out much nicer and smoother with modulation, because you should just use it on everything all the time, especially if you're going for, mainly if you're going for real world orchestration stuff. There is many applications when you wouldn't use modulation, but it just makes things so much nicer and so much more flowing. So for example, if I want to add in let's do legato. Yes. So I will, yeah, I'll add in legato. Because these are quiet, I'll add in maybe 2 patches just to see. Okay, so now if I copy this and move it to, oops, my low legato. And I want these to actually go down an octave, not up. Let's make this one and an octave 2. So for the sake of getting it involved, let's turn this in. So what I've got here is just the note coming in, and then has a nice little fill at the end. So as far as modulation is concerned, it just goes nice smooth in and then blends in. And at the end, what I will do is tail them off. So for the sake of doing it quickly, I'll just do that. And you don't have to, let's move this up. You don't have to tail them off perfectly like this. You can actually have it end a little bit higher like that, so you get more of the note at the end. This way you can really help with the computer aided side of it. So I don't like how these come in. So even though they come in quietly, they come in too loud. So I don't want that. So this is where you can really help with the computer. Now what you can do is modulate your volume in here if you wanted, the same way we've been doing the mod wheel. Where is it here? Sorry. So you can actually modulate the volume that way. So I want these to come in a little bit later. You can do it that way, but what I prefer to do is do it in here. My patch is a little weird. You will be doing it probably on yours in here, but my volume layer for this is actually here. So now we come in much slower. So because that's a much slower incline, what we can also do is change modulation a little bit more. So let's do this and this. Nice. They work just fine. We can even make this one be full impact here. It comes in later. And that is modulation and adding more expression to your pieces and things. And it just really, really helps. It changes everything. If I just solo out some brass here, you can really, really get some nice stuff. Let's do, actually, I have a good brass patch to show this on this one. So it's muted. So I use this a lot. And with the mod wheel, it sounds amazing. Let's just use the same chord again. So I'm going to have the mod wheel down and turn it up nice and slow. And then back down. And underneath the track, that sounds great. I'm really into that. I can show you on other patches too. Let's not use a D anymore. Easy as that. Some patches do not have modulation, some do. But you'll find the more you use it, the more you'll be really annoyed when the patches don't. So even these staccato patches have it. So the note stays the same. I can show this if I just want to take this note. There we go. And I want to just quickly loop this. So these are all the same velocity. I'll turn it up. They're all the same velocity. Now I'll get my modulation and increase it. I mean, you can make a song out of that in itself if I just, you know, this is like underneath of a track here. Let's just see, for the sake of demonstration, let's see how it sounds under here. I go lower. Yeah, see, so you can do things like that. I don't particularly like it, just the fact that you can. Modulation, you need to be automating and modulating your tracks. What I can do is show you a full track that I have and show you just the lengths that I go to. I'll just do that now. All right, so this is one of my tracks that I made. I'll give you a quick sneak preview. So there's loads of stuff going on. Sounds a bit patchy because I've just loaded it. But the main reason why I'm here is to show you, I highlight all of it and show you my piano roll. Boom, that's what your track should look like. That is absolute chaos. Almost everything in my orchestra tracks is modulated or automated in some way to show realism. Some stuff, as you can see, doesn't need it, and I've done it a different way. Maybe it's volume controlled, maybe there's some other stuff happening within the patch, who knows. But most of the track will be modulated in some way or another. I've never actually looked at this. This is insane. So if I do the same thing on like my velocities as well, they are all over the place. There's loads of stuff happening. The track, it's just different all the time. So like you can see where stuff goes up and down. Where's that bit? So here's obviously where something drops. If I look at my modulation, it'll show the same thing. To highlight elegant. So here, look, everything's turning up, 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 up. So let's see what this bit sounds like. You can hear this. I know what this is, this line here, because I can hear it because there's nothing changing. If you can hear in the background the high string, which I believe is in here. And then there's another bit further on that has a nice drop that I'll see as well. Here's another one. Let's see what happens here. Loads of stuff happening all the time, as it should be. What's this here? You can hear all that modulation happening. In here. Nice. Yeah, it's weird showing you this stuff. It's like for a musician or a composer, it's like having your pants down and showing everyone. Let's say that in context. Anyway, I think you get the point. Modulation, automation, do it all the time, especially in these kinds of tracks. Thank you for watching. Let me know if something else needs covering I haven't covered, or you just have some questions. Let me know.